With bonus XP soon to start, players will be focused on which of the 7 training dummies and skills they should either work on and focus, determine if it's good or not, because bonus weekend will be starting from February 16th and ends on the 26th. As a disclaimer, this is purely up to your preference if you want to use a training dummy as soon as possible, or you'll want to wait a little bit, in which case you'll get a little more usage, as the training dummies do give more experience the higher your level is. But then again, if you're just starting out on a new account, it could be beneficial, in which case I will be going over the 7 best uses for all of the training dummies. The first skilling dummy would be combat, in which case players are able to right click and choose what style it will spawn as. So if you want to train melee, you want to go for melee. As for the usage of this, for players that are focusing on magic, you'll pretty much want to do this up until either about 60 magic or 75 so that you're able to use the Staff of Light. For the range style, I highly suggest players to do this up until 45 or 55 range so that you have access to the gray and red champas, which while wearing them, every single ability will act as an AoE. For melee, your best option would be go for 50 attack to wear the rune halberd, or power through all the way up until 82 attack so that you're able to buy and wear the Masuda's war spear. And that's because at level 60 attack, the dragon halberd requires the regicide quest. At level 75 attack, you unlock the crystal halberd. However, that does require the roving elves quest completed, so power through up until you get 82, so you're able to skip all those questing requirements. Agility is a super interesting one, and this pretty much depends if you have 77 or 75, in which case you're able to boost and you're able to AFK the Heaven Agility course in Prithinius, but that is quest locked and it does require 77 agility. Now, the best use for these dummies would either be getting up to 77, so let's say you're like 50 or so, that would be perfect time, or after you have 99, you're able to just keep doing the training dummies if you have an excessive amount, because although the Heaven course is very AFK, the XP per hour is pretty situational because sometimes you'll be using Silverhawk feathers while you are training combat, killing bosses to counteract it, in which case you're slowly, very slowly, passively getting that agility experience. Now, this skill, I highly suggest you to use training dummies, and that will be for archaeology. Archaeology is extremely slow when you are first starting out. In fact, it's the best skilling dummy to use, in which case you want to level up as fast as possible, because every 10 levels you're able to upgrade your Matic and put that in the tool belt. Now, there will be a little bit of an issue, and that is that you will have to pretty much backtrack all of the mysteries, but this will be very good up until you get 70 archaeology. Afterwards, you're able to start focusing on the skill and getting some decent XP rates per hour without having to move locations every 5-10 minutes, because at the low level, you really do level up very quickly. And since you are backtracking, you'll get those artifacts at that specific dig site excavation a little bit quicker, so it will help in the long term. The most important skilling dummy you should focus on will have to be the Dungeoneering. This is because there is no viable way to train the skill if you are AFK, except with the Summer Beach event, although that is considered a yearly, where players are able to AFK that Dungeoneering pool for 90 seconds. Or the other method is to buy from Leech Services, which a floor is between 2 to 5 mil per floor, which is extremely expensive. So for players that do not want to throw money down the drain, Please make use of all of the Dungeoneering dummies you do have so you're able to save a fortune. Thieving is only good, in which case you're able to use the dummies from 1 up until 62. And that's because at 62 Thieving, players will unlock the ability to do Safecracking, which is by far the best XP rate per hour, even at a level 62, up until about 96, in which case if you have max buffs and you have a lot of quest requirements completed, then you have access to doing the Crux Equal Knights that are found north of the Alcread at the Garden of the Desert, in which case players are able to get almost 1 million X-ray per hour, and it is 100% AFK. Granted, you do have to click maybe once every 3 minutes, but that is totally fine, in which case only focus on using dummies up until 62. But of course, if you want to skip a little bit of the safe cracking, you are able to use your extra dummies that get you closer up until 90 plus. Next up will be a very controversial one, and that will be the Hunter Skilling Dummy. That is because we have the protein items that are the traps, in which case these are so good. I would say they're better than this trap, so don't really waste your time doing these, as the traps have a right click deploy and you're able to AFK it. If you do have the elite trapper outfit, you're able to place 6 of these. And the best method for those traps would have to be Jadinkos. However, let's say you're below 70, in which case the training dummies will be very beneficial to get you closer to 70, in which case you'll want to use all your protein traps at Jadinkos. So the dummies are pretty much of a middle ground training method. But sometimes during bonus week, the Jadinkos is extremely crowded with players, in which case, yes, you are able to use these traps. The final skilling dummy would be for Slayer. Now, this is pretty much the only method for level 3 accounts or skillers to get Slayer experience at a viable rate, in which case, yes, this is extremely good. Now, for main accounts, this is pretty good as well, up until you get about 85 Slayer, so that you're able to skip getting some Hellhound, Blue Dragons, Iron, Steel, Dragon Task, and other painful ones. And then also, depending on your quest, you have unlocked some painful monsters to get to. And then, of course, for main accounts, we do have an option of using the wild cards, in which case players are able to do the Demon, Berserk, and Ash Lords found right in the wilderness, north by the Elite Dungeon 2, in which case you're able to get far better X-rays per hour. And although it might need to be a little bit of click intensive, it is completely worth it. Although, granted, those cards can be expensive, but you are also able to use the Scrimshaw of Corruption or Sacrifice to increase your Slayer experience rate even further. Thank you all so much for watching this, and enjoy the rest of your day. Don't forget to like, subscribe, or comment down below any video suggestions or questions you have, and I will try to answer them. And enjoy the rest of your day.